Hello. In this video today we're going to be covering the observation comments report. So we'll go ahead and get in this. Let's go ahead and select the reports button from the menu across the top of the page. Once your reports page pulls up, let's find our observation comments report in the middle of the page and select view. Now that we have our observation comments report up, the very first thing you're going to notice is that we have a lot of data coming through. We see safe, at risk. Very first thing, this is a report that you really need to filter by, especially if you're wanting to view certain types of comments. So if you're wanting to look at only safes, at risk, I think it would be best to split those up. So the very first thing that we're going to do is get into filtering. So let's go ahead, select the filter button. This one's going to be one of our biggest filters in the whole reporting system. So you'll notice here we see a lot of information. It may be a little intimidating to look at. Easiest things to do first are if you're looking for exposure comments, this is just for your exposures, not any general comments, not reviewer comments. An easy thing to do is find our has exposure comment filter here. If we want to look at that, to say yes, and then another easy filter to start with is our exposure result. So here we're able to look at those at risk, barrier, exposed. So like I said, easy way to break these up, pull off for your exposed, not protected here, exposed or at risk. And then here we can save this as at-risk exposed comments. So this one's just going to bring us our exposure comments. I'm going to scroll down, save this as a new filter. It's going to really simplify. Went from a couple hundred now to 30. So in here you're really getting the meat of the comments, really getting into what you need. So here we see our observer comments. So this is just our general comment. So this is something that when we selected that we're not really filtering by, we're filtering by our exposure observation comment. So in here we can kind of scroll over and see all the different areas that we have. We're able to see the observer, what the exposure was, our exposure state that we're filtering by. We have our comment, we have the org, so the location name, our observation date, how many people were observed, our task observed, and then a little bit of information here at the end. Quickly kind of scrolling through just so everyone can kind of take a quick look. So we're going to scroll back just to the front of the page here. Kind of quickly scroll, watch your eyes. So a great feature, kind of the same thing if you watch the exposure stats, is that you can go straight to the comment, straight to the observation right from this page. So we're going to select the blue button on the far left hand side. This is going to take us straight into our observation sheet that was entered. We're able to scroll and take a look. We found our at-risk comment. We can go in here, look at a little bit more details. You're able to see the comment and just take a look at it a little easier. So you can do that straight from the far left column. If you're looking here, not seeing what you want, we do have a date range filter. Works the same as all the other date ranges, so you're able to do this month, last 3 months, running 30 days, or running week, or your current week, or your custom range. Just make sure if you're really pulling in a lot of data, it will take a little while to run. So something to keep in mind, especially with comments, if there are quite a bit. Let's go back into our filter. So for this, I'm just going to scroll down and hit clear. I'm going to make sure that I don't update the current filter. I want to create a new one for our safe comments. So for this, for our safe comments, we necessarily, unless you're instructing your users to make those in the exposure comment, I'm just going to keep our has exposure comment to all. I want to make sure we're looking at protected safe. Make sure I add protected up here as well. So and in here, this one you may get some that don't have comments, but you can kind of filter this out a little more if you do push this to Excel. You can take out kind of the blanks if you would like to. You kind of like to view it that way. Through here, same way as a lot of our other filters, you can pull through orgs. So if you're looking at multiple, that'll help break it down. Checklists, you can filter by checklist as well. Observation status, if you want to look at only your reviewed or maybe what's ready for review, you can do that. Reviewed by, coached by, observed by. Here you're able to make those groups. I had mentioned in the exposure stats report as well, if you haven't watched that one yet. If you would like to make your own groups, if you don't have users to departments or shifts or areas, you are able to pick and choose these. So if I want to see certain comments from these users, say this is my crew, I want to make sure I'm just seeing a report for them only. You can pick and choose those users. There's no limit to how many you have, but you are able to do that as well. If you only want to look at certain categories, exposures, you can do that through here too. And keep scrolling down. Areas, departments, shifts observed. So this is going to be what was being observed. It's not by who was doing the observing. So if you're wanting to look at loading dock within the contractor department, you can definitely see all the observations listed through there. And then everything down here at the bottom is either variables or flags. So usually the account manager or your admin users will have these set up. So if anything is with a variable, you'll notice it'll say variable form. If it'll be with a flag, it'll also say flag form. So you're able to kind of pick and choose on what you want to see and what you can filter by. So if you do have certain ones of what type of observation it was, things like that, you're able to grab those and bring those in. But for here, I just want to look at safe, so I'm going to save that as a new filter, and it's going to bring up all my safe comments. So like I said, this may be a great one that you want to just push into Excel so you can see what was entered. The thing with these, especially with the general comment, is that that same observer general comment is going to be listed for every single exposure. So something to keep in mind if you are doing your safe comments, maybe you want them into your exposure comment, kind of train your employees, your observers to be entering those into exposure comment, so then it's easier to filter by. You can run that off of has exposure comment, and then you're not getting one for every single exposure. Something to keep in mind there. I'm going to scroll back up. So I've been mentioning on exporting. So to do that, you'll see this arrow down button. If you click on that, we can export to Excel, export to PDF. You'd be able then to export any of your reports that you make. So this one is a pretty simple report. There is a pretty specific thing. So with pick columns, so you're able to pick your columns for how you'd like to view. So I'm going to flip over to my at-risk exposed report, brings it down so then I'm not looking at 349 items, I'm only looking at 30. So for the pick columns, you're able to pick and choose what you want to see for your comment report. So if you don't want to see the observation ID, the observation detail ID, things like that, you're able to pick and choose. So if we open this up, it is going to bring every single variable, flag, and then anything else, you know, like your observer, exposure, anything to do with entering your observation, it's going to enter. So I'll slowly kind of scroll through so you can see. So anything that's attached to a flag or a variable, it will list. And then, so then you're not selecting duplicates. And then normal adaptive terms such as behavior type, category name, checklist name, climate condition is not one, but we have behavior type, category name, checklist name. We're able to filter by those. So this will take a little bit to get used to. I always type this in, and you can always reach out to your account manager to help you out. Say, hey, I'm kind of wanting to build a comment report. Here's what I want. We'll be able to help you out with that. But some of the main ones, we can do location name just to start off. If you have multiple, we want our observation date. I'll bring this up. We'll want our observer. Through here, category name. We'll want our exposure name, exposure state. I'm going to pull this up. We want our exposure observation comment because we are wanting to see that comment. Let's throw an observer comment. So those are kind of the main things that you want to see. Let's add in there behavior type as well. And now anything with our forms, anything with variables, so like agree with risk, agreement on risk, aware of risk type of thing. If you're wanting to see the yes, no's, the selections for those, like climate condition, if that's one that you'd like to take a look at, you can select those and then you're able to filter out your report by those as well. So you can add that in as a column and then you can filter and see, okay, I only want it for rainy days. I want to see really when it's bad at our location. Let's see what's going on. Any follow-ups, if you'd like to see those. Hours into shift would be a big one we can add in there. So let's go ahead, hit search. Some of it may not grab all the information we want. But now instead of having a ton of columns, we only have so many into there. So we have our climate condition, hours into shift. So here we can see with our at-risk comment, it's been drizzling. So we need to make sure that we're really training and being careful when it's raining out. And then hours into shift, 0 to 4. We want to make sure that when we come into work, our observers, our employees are ready to go, that they're not kind of dragging around and getting hurt just from being tired or being right into the shift, not really being attentive. So this is where you can really get into them comments, get into the meat, of your observation and get those good comments out. But with this pick columns, there is a lot of data. Try your best not to let it overwhelm you. But like I said, once we have our climate condition, our hours into shift, if I filter, I'm just going to Control F here. We can pull up our climate condition here. We can filter by drizzling, favorable. We're able to look at this certain areas and fill those out, as well as our hours into shift. You can look by hours into shift. So 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, 12 to 16. We want to make sure that our employees are coming into work, making sure they're ready to work, as well as once they're at the end of their shift, that they're not getting lazy, going in going, okay, I'm going to go home pretty soon, so I'm not going to be as careful. You just want to make sure that those employees are doing well. So easy things to do. It's a pretty simple report. There's just a lot of information that could overwhelm you. If you need help, make sure you just reach out to your account manager and we'll be more than glad to help you out. If you guys have any questions on these, make sure to let us know. We'll be more than glad to help you out. Thank you for watching this. Have a great day.